So if you don't know what VRchat is, I'm guessing you've known the touch of a physical breathing human that cares for you and you're a respectable contributing person to society with a normal status of mental health and people love to be around. You have a future that looks bright and warm. Right, so if we're talking about the average VRchat player, I want you to take all of what I just said, throw it out the window, flip the table, and your expectations for what a decent human being is. Make sure to call your doctor for an express order of Prozac, because this is going to be a ride you'd have wished you forgot. Or an ego boost for you narcissists out there, because who would have thought a game about socialising with people around the world with the power of virtual reality would cause so many problems? Probably worse than the phase where femboys were shoving cold beverages up their anus. This actually was a trend and I'm unfortunate enough to know about it. I've not looked at a monster can the same way ever since. But it's better than the raccoon anus copy pasta. How many raccoons can you fit up your asshole? Do you want to play a competitive match over it? But as a disclaimer, not all VRchat players are as worse as Reddit or Discord mods, in a way you can't smell them from around the corner, and most people do not brag they are a VRchat player, meaning they're among the population and we just don't know it. But as a disclaimer, not all VRchat players are bad. It's just the small majority. Which is an oxymoron now that I think about it. But some of the VRchat players do generally just get on the game to have fun and socialise and make new friends. And that's it. But the other activities that I care in the game, which I wish was just a small percentage of the population, and after hearing what I have to say, might make you want to waterboard yourself with alcohol tonight.
Where's the money, Lebowski? You want that money, Lebowski? Bunny says you're good for it. Where's the fucking money, shithead?
It's down there somewhere. Let me take another look.
Which is a majority of what VRchat players do whilst playing the game anyway. Or if you even think for an atom of a second that the problems I present about this game sounds like your cup of stagnant piss, stop watching the video, check yourself into Guantanamo Bay, and ensure no internet service provider will ever provide any access close to the World Wide Web to you ever again. But once again, for the final time, not all VRchat players are like this. And if your friend confesses they play VRchat, you don't have to treat them like a pile of liquid dog feces in the middle of summer. If you know, you know. Because the worst thing they've ever done is probably wear an avatar posing as the opposite gender to experiment, I guess. And harass the many people that go to public lobbies and openly show their affection of one another when there are kids in the lobby. And I'm not just talking about a kiss on the cheek.
Your little pussy belongs to me. And you're gonna learn to do what I fucking tell you to.
So in reality, your friend's not that bad. Just check what they're doing in VRchat, I guess. But if you generally don't know what VRchat is, it launched back in January of 2014 and initially was available on Steam, but you can only fully experience the game with a VR headset. If not, you'd be made fun of by the people that spent $1,000+ on VR headsets and full body tracking. But it was initially designed to be a social environment where you communicate with people around the world, play little mini-games, have fun, make friends, and probably make your own worlds and avatars. Oh, how we strayed from the path from the original design. But that is the original premise of what the game was meant to be. But back in 2014, the game was not an instant success like it is now. Because once again, you needed a VR headset to get the full experience, and this was before the VR craze where every gaming company was making their own VR game. But VRchat, when it initially launched, there wasn't very much to do. There were a few minigames and a few worlds you could go to, but the main point is you just talk to people. I guarantee people with social anxiety just vomited in their mouth thinking about that. But VRchat was a community-run game. The worlds were created by players, and without the players you had no worlds. But that was just VRchat in its infancy, not even 1% of its power. Because as the years went on and the game got bigger and bigger, it got a whole lot worse, and would be a breeding ground for degenerates and borderline illegal activities. But I'll talk more about that later. VRchat was still an itty-bitty sperm cell compared to what it would be. Around the 2014 to 2016 period, there wasn't really much to do in the game. It had a loyal player base that just loved talking to each other, but nothing to spread its legs and entice more people to play it. But in early 2016, the HTC Vive launched, which was the first good quality headset. I'm sorry all the original Oculus users out there. But mine's lasted about 5 years. It's almost dead. And with the launch of this new headset, came a bunch of new games as well. Admittedly, all of them were a bit staggered. In 2016 you had Job Simulator, which was pretty fun. In 2017 you had Pavlov, which if you're a gun enthusiast you'd probably love, but if you're not, you'd probably fail to operate even a hand grenade. I would know.
You dropped this, mate.
Hey, permission to shoot those two guys on the roof. Permission to shoot those
No! And then in 2018 you had the launch of Beat Saber, which is probably the game everyone bought a headset for, just so they could live out their primal instincts of wanting to be a Jedi slashing shit. But when you wanted to take a break from these games and you still wanted to be in VR, what would you do? You'd play VRchat, so you could speak to other people that have put themselves into poverty from just buying this headset. And it was around this time that VRchat started to see more people playing it, and as a result, content creators. I myself liked watching Chips play this game because he and his group was pretty funny.
So when am I getting some dicking?
Whoa.
I think now they do VRchat roleplay or something, I haven't checked in a while. But looking back during the 2018 period, it was weird how obsessed I was with watching VRchat streamers.
Is this what you do now, Meech? Some fucking weird age play shit?
Weird age play shit. We're not fucking each other. You're the
It's not
fucking weird one out of the two of us, you fucking freak.
me, Vigor!
Mainly just Chips and Nuts and anyone within their circle. But seeing all these content creators create content on VRchat and have fun based on the encounters and the people I met, it made a lot of other people want VR headsets as well just to play VRchat. I was one of them that made that mistake. And before that I would have considered myself normal, until VRchat opened its anus and swallowed me whole and in my naivety, milked me of any purity I'd left.
More than welcome to join.
The only reason I'm adding you is so I can bully you more.
Okay, I'll accept.
Yes, I'm a victim of VRchat, but we'll talk about that later. It was also around the 2018 period where the Ugandan Knuckles meme started.
I know the way.
Yes, I
Do you know the way?
I know the way.
You have to have Ebola to know the way.
I have.
I know people in the 18 to 28 age range think the memes like Skibbity Toilet, Ohio, Riz, Sussy, which saying out loud sounds like hieroglyphics, but majority of people within that age range think those memes are absolute nonsense, but the memes we had was Ugandan Knuckles, where a little Sonic character would spit on women, sort of like recent years. But we also had MLG montages, which were, you can't even say they were shit, they were like the godfather of memes. And let's not forget Who Touched My Spaghetti.
Somebody touch my spaghetti!
Take me back! But with the popularity of Ugandan Knuckles taking over every corner of the internet back in 2018, people started watching more VRchat content. But this trend also increased the number of people streaming and making content in VRchat. This was before VRchat TikTok was a thing.
Begin audio prompt in 3, 2, 1.
But this included OG content creators like Drumsy, Ladle, Rafflegator, Lolathon, and more. Most of them have descended into being alcoholics, but who wouldn't when you probably found out your VRchat girlfriend wasn't actually a mute IRL, just a 40-year-old guy wearing adult diapers with more cottage cheese than a cheese factory around their cock. That wasn't based on a personal event, by the way. But with the popularity of VRchat increasing, the community got hard at work making new worlds and avatars, which would bring a lot of benefits and inconveniences. Oh, your friend just got a new avatar that goes over the poly limit? That's fine for the first few seconds, till you start hearing your PC reading its own obituary in the form of all 4 of your case fans and GPU fans spinning at their max RPM. And this problem got worse till people actually started making avatars that could not only crash you, but brick your VR headset in the process, and sometimes your PC. But there were a lot of meme avatars created around that time that utilised the 3D space to its advantage, but it also led to the eventual creation of avatars that could get naked, which opened Agatha's gates to the degeneracy that would come. However, with the creation of new avatars and worlds, it brought about the involvement of inclusivity. You could get avatars that assisted people with sign language, so if you were actually mute or deaf, you could actually communicate. There were worlds for groups where people could share their interests, like the furry worlds, where as soon as you join, you'd probably get harassed, or be a part of the 6th intentional crash within that hour. I think fairies were attacked most during this period, but towards the beginning of 2019, the hype kind of died down a little, but you still had regulars playing the game and the advancement in avatars and worlds being made. But the next major blow up for VRchat was in early 2020, where everyone was inside because of the COVID pandemic. Everyone thought it was just for 2 weeks, but then the weeks turned into months, and the months turned into eventual years. And things got pretty lonely. You couldn't see your friends, you couldn't do much outside because everything was either closed or restricted, and online schooling was about as useful as Braille Playboy. Like seriously, were they supposed to be like attracted to how deep the crevices of the page were? But there was one place where you could socialise and sort of visually see people. Can you guess what it was? If your guess was Epstein Island, go in the corner and ram your toenail into the nearest toothpick. No, it was VRchat, and since the last time people got on it, it was a whole lot different. there was now full body tracking supplied by Vive. So if you were rich or just looking to impress people, just by your now functioning legs, I guess you could do that.
My God, I can walk! It's a miracle!
But most people just sat down with them anyway. There was a club scene where you could find the smallest reason, and I mean the microscopic of reason, to crack open a bottle of spirits and drink your sorrows away, whilst being surrounded by people doing the same. And in these clubs, you could also see people dancing, having the time of their lives, with the benefit of full body tracking. But what's that over there? Is that somebody getting a lap dance? Yes, lap dances were a thing in these club worlds, and they were accessible to just about anyone. But don't worry, there was a warning when you joined, that if you was not the age of 18 or over, you could not proceed, which could be easily swatted away with a click of the accept button.
Wow, that's a lot of words. Too bad I'm not reading them.
But these lap dances were a part of the existing and rising NSFW part of VRchat. But I guess some of them were kind of impressive, to the point where people installed poles in their rooms just so they could do that. And you had e-boys foaming at the mouth like they had fucking rabies. But why are there private rooms in these worlds? Obviously so people could change their avatars in private. God, women need their privacy. But more about that problem later. But apart from clubs, we also saw Twitch streamers and YouTubers return, with one of the best moments, and a clip I absolutely love, being from XQC.
The shoes. The big whale at the back. Big whale.
No.
Get the whale out. Snorlax, I do not choose you. Get the fuck off the stage.
And they put on full display how VRchat has changed and developed from 2018 to now 2020. So more people bought VR headsets and installed VRchat. More avatars, wilds, minigames and memes graced the community. You could now watch full movies and YouTube videos with your friends in movie worlds. You could play Town of Salem and even D&D in the game. Virtual dating became somewhat normal now, and you could now also show your friends your virtual genitals through the power of community-made avatars, but they were still in development.
What?
I can put it in my face.
Why do you have it?
Yeah, you're a loser, that's why.
It would get much, much worse. But what a time to be alive it was, and I wasn't immune from it.
How are you doing?
Dude, I wasn't expecting actually meeting someone famous.
Bro, royalty, you got titties, bro. You got some nice titties, bro. You got some.
Yes, that's me, and before you say anything, or comment, "Oh, royalty, I didn't know you were a femboy." First of all... Objection! Your Honour, I'm not a femboy. I have a body of a preschooler Arnold Schwarzenegger. And second of all, this was my first time back on VRchat after a while. I needed to know what had changed, including the jiggle physics and clothing options, but apparently most of those new things at the time were only available on female models. Hence why most people wore female avatars around that time. I'm not joking, by the way, most good avatar features always released first on feminine models. The masculine ones always had to take some time to catch up. And my final point, Your Honour. Look, I have 3,000 hours on VRchat.
Oh, no. No.
Wait. Before you gear me up for execution, most of those hours are from COVID and some hours after COVID, where I'd have occasional phases where I'd play it again. Just like how you and your friends get a Minecraft server and grind the shit out of it for night and day. Then one day after you accidentally killed your friend's dog, accidentally, started a civil war that left the crater deeper than the Mariana Trench, where your friend's house used to be. Then you all just stop playing and forget about the server altogether. Bit of a long anecdote, but it was sort of like that. All I did was make friends on this game and not even bully the degenerates. It was kind of just fun to observe them. They mostly resembled the chimpanzees at the zoo, and yes, they did throw their shit at each other. But I know so much about VRchat because I've been around for most of its phases. But now it's 2021 and COVID is still around, but people have learned to live with it. Taking a mask with you to places was normal, and having friends across the world is somewhat normal. People still got in VRchat, a lot more people were hooked since the spike of COVID, and a lot more people were buying expensive headsets and full body. Drinking and clubbing was thriving, but one more thing was increasing and becoming normal within the game, and that was ERP. So you find someone you really like in VRchat, you enjoy talking to them, you can't touch them, and you can't be intimate with them. Except for text RP, but that's just cringe. But you both play VRchat, and some people have what is called phantom sense, where their brain is so void of brain cells they actually feel when people touch them in VR. That was a joke. It was a bit mean, but that was a joke. Well, you either download or get someone to hook you up with an avatar that has DPS for ERP. What's DPS, you ask? It stands for Dynamic Penetration System, where basically there are shaders for an avatar that lets you interact with the shaders from another avatar. You see where I'm going here, and if not, we need to read a book. So people would get these avatars, go to a private world or private room, and you know, as the British say, shag.
I'm about to come up.
But in reality, they were just in the room, stroking their meat. And this is ERP, or erotic roleplay. But it's surprising to know that ERP has started seeping into games like Roblox, which is borderline terrifying. Things like this was normal, and it was normal to show affection in VRchat public lobbies, with things like head pats while staring at a mirror. This brought about the creation of mirror dwellers, where people will sit in front of a virtual mirror for hours because one, they can see themselves and everyone around them, and they can also feel immersed if somebody starts getting touchy-feely with their head. If you join a world nowadays, you'll probably see a ton of them by the mirror anyway. Think I'm wrong, I probably got the speedrun world record for this. Right, start the clock, start the clock, start the clock. Stop the clock. So ERP was normalised and even had assets to improve the experience. But as I've said multiple times, this gets much, much worse with the introduction of Discord servers and tools you could attach to your genitals to sync to VRchat. Personally, I love technology and how almost 40 years ago we thought we'd be in flying cars by now, but no, we can vibrate your dick when it touches your virtual girlfriend. Where and when did we stray from the path of God? But these things came in all shapes and sizes, and there were mods you could implement to not only sync them, but improve the quality of life in VRchat. Because the game was terrible when it came to optimization and overall quality. You even had mods that made the game look better, and so you could steal anyone's avatar in a lobby, or just search for it now. Oh, you worked for 500 hours and sold your left kidney working on a VRchat model? Don't give a fuck. Mine now. But it's safe to say this game had evolved from apes to Planet of the Apes with expensive equipment and vibrating butt plugs. But remember when I mentioned Discord servers like a minute ago? You ready? Because it gets much worse. There are Discord servers you can join for ERP events which were sponsored by the companies making the vibrating long distance tools, and you thought wearing a tail with a butt plug was bad. Private orgies were a thing, and events where you could meet someone for a one night stand in VRchat. These servers had a bio section where you could describe yourself and your kinks, so if your hobby was sticking tadpoles down your foreskin, you found the perfect place. But majority of the time people posted their bios to find someone, you know, to love them, or just someone to spend time with. And there was even a channel dedicated to just meeting up and fucking. Guys, it's called Tinder, if you can get past all the trust fund girls using it anyway. But some people posting their bios generally just wanted friends or someone to hang around with, which is perfectly understandable. COVID was a lonely time for most of us. And even without COVID, people are allowed to be lonely and reach out for attention or friends. But admittedly, I have a guilty pleasure of looking at these bios sometimes, because every once in a while you'll find one of them so outlandish, because it makes you wonder what kind of insane person wrote this, or was it even a person? But I'm going to read some out for you. Obviously a disclaimer, there is a lot of sexual shit in this, and I'll try my best to make the person anonymous. Okay, on our first one, they're in their 30s, male and straight, and they are looking for a girl that is an extreme sub. Usually in the bios, this is just ordinary information, but the juicy part is when you get into the extra information section, because it goes downhill from here. I'm 6'2", have a nice big D as a plus. I'm good looking IRL, which I'm starting to doubt if you're on a VRchat dating fucking section in the bios, what the fuck. I'm addicted to erotic stimulation. I love playing with my expensive, full-sized, big-titty silicone sex doll while you watch or become one of them. I need a slave who would like to be treated like one. That's just one bio. Believe me, these type of bios are rare, there are a lot of normal bios out there, but when you find one that's fucked up, you find one that's fucked up. Okay, on to the last and final one, because reading this out makes me want to wash my mouth out with soap. This person is in their mid-20s, they're single and gender fluid. This person is looking for cuddles, friends with benefits, and general ERP, and they're mainly looking for someone that is feminine. Now on to the extra information part, they have a daddy kink and a mommy kink. They love big doms but not edgy ones, and they like feet. You know, that wasn't as bad as the first one. It was actually rather tame compared to the first one and the other ones in here. But there's your little crack sample. A lot of these people are just looking for someone to do this stuff with, and genuinely find something they are missing in their life. Like a sex doll. But what else could have happened in 2021 to make VRchat an even worse place to play in? Well, I'm glad you asked. Because back in 2019, the Oculus Quest came out. It was a standalone headset and it did not need a PC to help it. It had very limited cords except for when you needed to charge it, meaning you could probably run around with it on. So with all those benefits tied together, who would the player base for the Quest be? If you guess children, ding ding ding, you have more than one functioning brain cell. Parents would love to just strap this onto their kid's head and not have to worry about them for about 1 to 5 hours. But thank God, VRchat and everything I've described wasn't available to them until it was in early 2021. So now you had children running around in the fiery landscape that was VRchat. But it's okay, the VR headsets were that shit they couldn't load most avatars, that's why they had separate avatars called Quest avatars, so they couldn't see like naked avatars or anything. Until better versions of the Quest and avatar creators managed to get around that, so some Quest users could get around that now and wear avatars that are extremely optimized and can show their dick. Along with some avatars that could only crash Quest users because they were majority of the time kids, so they're kind of annoying. But sometimes they would crash someone that was using a Quest that wasn't a kid or annoying, and there goes that person forever. But time for my daily phrase of it gets much, much worse. And once again, another disclaimer, I'm going to be talking about some terrible stuff. So you have fully fledged adults and children together, what would happen? Of course it would lead to a rise in stuff like grooming, because of the fact kids are naive and parents didn't know what their kids were doing on the headset. You also saw the rise of such things as VRchat families. So you normally had older people acting like they were parents and then younger people like brothers and sisters, which is great for kids that are neglected by their parents, but it gets a lot more cringier when you have like an adult person that is no way related to this person and they are scolding them. But it sounds kind of wholesome till you realise it's an opportunity for grooming, but once again, not all VRchat families were like this. I personally found the VRchat family thing kind of weird, especially since a complete stranger is acting like a father figure or mother figure, but once again, some kids were neglected from that. But onto the weird side of it all, you had such things as supposed grooming rings, and an infamous example of this is Tech Gangster. I did a previous video on him on a different channel. But essentially he would groom children in public worlds in front of everyone and even ERP with them in front of everyone.
Do you think I'm fucking playing with you? Do you think I'm fucking playing with you? I'm up here. Do you fucking hear what the fuck?
And the people he was grooming generally didn't see any problem with what he was doing. Some of them, even to this day, still defend him on TikTok, and he is still alive and well in VRchat, because they haven't banned his IP and they can keep recreating his account. And some people in his inner circle are generally just as worse as him. They see no problem with what he's doing, they generally just ignore it sometimes. And VRchat moderation is all around terrible. But that is the summary of that and the extent I'm going to talk about that. There are other VRchat videos that go in more depth about this. Something else I wanted to talk about was VRchat TikTok. Where you had some generally amazing meme creations using the 3D space to their advantage. Even I created some TikToks at some point. Yeah, I know. I'm dying of cringe as well.
Snake bites hurt. Now listen to this. I pierced my dick.
Ah!
Naked entertain.
Where?
Completely lost.
Why you which one is the naked undertake?
I was just branching out in content, okay? But my petty excuses to the side, you also had the bad side of it, which was VRchat's thirst traps, or just extremely sexualized TikToks made by people under the age of 18. Don't worry, I'm loading my 44 revolver as well. And you're probably wondering, well, you know, it's a VRchat avatar, it's not actually them doing this, but it gives the opportunity for groomers to swoop in and, you know, comment on their shit or take advantage of them. But my general hypocritical opinion is that, you know, TikTok is brain rot anyway. But that was VRchat from 2021 to 2023. It didn't really change much. And now VRchat is turning 10 years old. I generally had a lot of fun in this game, and have met so much amazing people in this game, but as with all things, as they get older and as they advance, it stops being the same game you started playing. VRchat has definitely changed, and has brought a lot of benefits and disadvantages with it, but the concept of just talking to people through the power of virtual reality is still there. And probably some point down the road, I'll probably go through a phase of getting back on again, but as of right now, that is VRchat. Funny thing I've discovered about YouTube is if I scream like, the like button goes sort of like purplish or something. Or if I do the same with subscribe, it goes purple as well. But I did spend a lot of time on this video, so either of them would be appreciated. Don't forget to leave a comment if you generally think my opinion is trash. I know some of the VRchat ERPs are going to be commenting, and all I can say to them is, go touch a physical female, you loser. But anyway, bye-bye.